Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 6 for how to build your own internet service provider either through wireless or through fiber. In episode 6 I'll be fixing a few things here and there and probably connecting two more clients just to make sure that our configuration works great. In the next video I will be going through downloading the default configuration, save it, tweak it, and then upload it to any new client that comes up within your network. Alright, so as we see here, everything is still the same. And try to log into the router either through IP or through MAC address. I'm going through my core VLAN IP address. And here we got the DHCP that we have at the moment, same as the last time. My computer for management, this is will disappear once it's in site. And then we have the 254, 10.0.11.254, my Prism IP, 10.2.11.253, my management for my client, first client IP, and then 10.0.21.254 interface is ready for my client router. It's already has an IP address as a WAN. That's the good part of using VLAN. So you already and you can assign it statically before doing anything. So let's do a few things here. I know that my access point, it's permanent. So in MikroTik, to assign static IP, just click on it, make static IP, it becomes static. Now you can go and change the IP address if you want. You can do whatever you want to do to it. But at the moment, I'm going to keep everything the same. All I'm going to do change, which is just a note, I'm going to call it main IP just for reference. Okay. Now I know that this IP belongs to my main IP. I'm going to go back to this one, 253, and I'm going to do the same thing. We don't want to make everything static, but whatever it's going to be for my client, I prefer to do it this way. Just if I need it, I know what is that. But later on, when we go to Ubiquiti controller, you can see all these assigned to your clients and everything. So this is just a best practice, but you don't have to do it. So I'm going to call this first client. Hey, great. Which is my light pin. Okay. And here I can name this or I don't, it's up to me, but I'll leave it. This is what my client WAN will be, but I'm gonna leave it this time. I'm not gonna mess with it, but I can name it with my client name if I want to. So I can say this first client radio and then first client WAN or first client AP or whatever you want to, because this one is not your client AP. This is the management the IP for the management interface of your client radio. This is the IP where your client will access the internet from. So now I see all the IPs that has been assigned to my devices. I need to access my first client, okay? And then after I access my first client, so there is two ways to get a second client, either from scratch like we did to the first one. If you go back to the video number 4, I think you'll see how I did that. How to connect your first client, or maybe video number 3, I'm not sure. And if you want it to be done in a bulk or in advance or get everything, we don't have the UISP ready yet. We can do it through the UISP once we have it, but we don't have it. So it's good to learn alternatives, okay, in case the UISP is down, sometimes it's down, Ubiquiti is down or something, and you have a client that's set up, so you know how to do it without that. So here I want to make sure that everything works fine, which we can see client 1 is connected. It's not a good connection because we are in feed and this is congested, but we'll take care of it later. And right now we just want to get things going in the learning process. So this is the IP address of my client. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to try to log into it. Okay. First and okay. And it's user 1 and it's the same password as the other one. I think so. Yes, it is indeed. So this is my client now. So instead of me, every time I have a client, I have to do everything from scratch, right? So what I'm going to do, I am going to download this configuration as a text file, change it, upload it to the new one, and call it a day. I think that makes more sense, right? Okay. So let's go back in here, cancel this one. So what I need to do at this moment, I'm going to my download where that file is being downloaded. I think I did not. Let me just delete this. That way we make sure everything is. Now I'm gonna go to the settings and I'm gonna do a DFS. I know it's gonna disconnect my equipment for a minute, but we'll talk it out later. Let me go to DFS 5590. I think it's empty. Change it. Now let's wait for this one to pick up again. DFS usually takes about 60 minutes or so to connect. It's gonna scan all the DFS frequency, dynamic frequency selection. It's frequency that has been used by radars and everything, but yeah, we can use it. But the problem, once the radar kick in, you have to be out. There's a way to not dodge it, but there's a way to fix that issue, because sometimes when the radar kick you out, you'll get stuck at a bad frequency, which is the lower side, and then you have to physically reboot access point in order to come back to this frequency, because radar, they usually hit for a couple seconds and they're gone. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, you need to have a way for your radios to reboot and go back to their good known frequency. All right, let's wait for this to populate again. I know we are in feed mode. This area is so congested with Wi-Fi. I mean, there's hundreds of them, but let's see how we can get this done. So now we are in a DFS, didn't detect any radar, so you should see the client pops in a minute. Okay, as we see my client popped in, we have a better experience now. This is will get increased a little bit at the time. But if we try to log in, so I'm logged in, now I'm going to try to back up the configuration. And you should be able to back up, but see we have a triangle here, so we have to accept it because the browser is suspecting the file. Now once the file is downloaded, I don't know which one is it, and why it's downloaded it twice, but that's okay. Did I click on it twice? I think so. So let's delete this. Alright, so this is the file. Let's rename it. I'm gonna make this as my default. Yeah, because I want to inject this one to every device. Default. Config. CPE. Oh, that's great. Now I need to edit this with Notepad. Alright, so now we get it's a light beam, as we see here. This is all the configuration in text mode, so I'm gonna keep everything as a DHCP. Alright, everything as a DHCP. We're not gonna mess with nothing. We're gonna keep the same username and password. And these are the channel. I'm just going through it real quick. The gain, it's feed only. You can see this here. And then let's find the client name, which I know I can find it because I know we named it client one. So here, if I go client, find it, there you go. No, that's the NTP client. Let's go a little farther. Okay, there you go, client one. So here I'm going to say this client two. So I can save this as the default and then save it as a new one, and then I'll change client 2. Other than that, I don't have to change anything else. Absolutely nothing. It's just a literally duplicate of the first one. Router mode, I can change the IP address of the NAT, but I don't need to. What difference is gonna make? Okay, it's not gonna make any difference. I could left it 192.168.1.1, but okay, so we're gonna save this. Save as. Client 2 config, and we're gonna save it in the same place. Save it. So now we're gonna go here and we find the client 2 config. So now let's plug in the client number 2, and we have to put it to a factory default. Let me show you what we have here. So what we have here, oops, let me move my phone. What we're going to start with, it's Power Beam. Okay, so let's plug it in, and if you look at the videos about the PoE, you will know what kind of PoE I'm plugged into it. I believe I'm plugged in to the 15 watt PoE, something like that. So there is a reset button right here if you see it. Okay, I have to reset it because this one has been used and I don't know who's been used. Neighbors are too loud. Alright, so we're gonna reset it. Now you see the lights here. Okay, this light should show you how strong is the signal, but don't rely on them, please. It's not a good, it's a good practice to get it as close as possible to what you need, but then you have to do it through the signal adjustment through the UISP or through your phone or something. We'll go through that. So let me just reset it. Let me find that button. What is it? Yeah, something stuck in there. Okay, I found it. Oh, I lost it. Okay, I found it. Now I'm gonna wait until the whole row will blink. I don't know if you can see this. So we should have, there you go. Now once it blink twice, 3 times, then I'm sure everything is reset to factory default. So I'm gonna let go. Okay, so I'm gonna let go and I'm gonna leave it that way. That way it will show us once you connect to the AP, we'll see some good signal on it. Okay. All right, so let's go back to where we at. So we're here, right? So we're gonna disconnect from MikroTik. So right, we're gonna lose everything, and we're gonna look for that access point Wi-Fi. Okay, and this is how we're gonna program it. Let's wait for it until it populate, and then we'll connect to it, and then we'll program it. Boom. Power Beam. Connect. So we're going to connect to the Power Beam. So let's go back real quick. Adjust it here because it fell. Oops. That way we can monitor. So as you can see here, there is no client connected to it. That's why with the traffic it's not blinking, but the signal it's nothing at all. So let's see once we inject that file what's going to happen. So we're going to connect to it, and then same process as the other one. And then we're going to select the United States, English, agree, username, user 2, right? Yep. But you know what? I need to keep all these the same. That way I don't get confused. And the password, we're going to do the same. 567888765. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5. So when that is done, we're going to save, and now we are into. Now be careful here. It has to be at least a closed firmware in order for the upload to work. That's the key with this. So let me go ahead and check. If it will accept it, is great. If not, then we don't have no choice but doing it manually because the firmware is different. Okay, do it here, and we're gonna upload configuration from a download file. Client 2, open, and apply. Great. So the configuration is applying right now. Okay. And just a second. Let me put this in here first. Okay, as we see here, the light beam, it's connected, but it's not connected yet remember it's a DFS, so it's gonna have to wait at least 60 seconds until it populate. And for that, we can go back and look at our light beam. Still nothing, so it's trying to look for it. But if I go back here to my wireless, I see it populated everything that we get another one. So everything, the VLANs, everything is here, so I don't have to mess with none of this. Everything, even the WISP key, it should be there. So here we go. Second client, great. It's gonna kick me out from here, but that's fine. So second client, it's in. Okay, we have a good signal when we are in the DFS, a very clean. There is a con and there is a pro on that. So that is out. Let me go back to the picture and check. There you go. So as we see here, you see all these full signal right here, which is great, but don't rely on them, please. They're not. It's just to give you literally like an idea what's going on. So my second client is up, which is awesome. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about my second client now. I'm gonna go to my Prism and see. Eventually and unfortunately, because I'm not it in my client, I cannot log into it, but we're gonna ignore it at the moment, and we're gonna connect my computer to Ethernet to my router. Remember, in the real world, we're gonna need a VPN for all this. And we gotta disconnect the Wi-Fi. I should have a connection now. So I'm gonna refresh this one out. And I should be back to my AP. Here you go. Now here's my AP. Here is my client. And when I click the arrow down here, I have two clients. Awesome. So now I can see two clients. I can see which AP is which one. So 10.0.11.252 is a client number 2. Now let's see if MikroTik updated it with this. There we go. 252. There we go. No, not this one. Hold on. 252, this one. So I'm going to make it as a static. Okay, and I'm going to call it second client. So just to have everything synchronized. All right. That way you know what is which in case you lose access to one. MikroTik will have all this laying in there. So it's my second client. Get 252, my first client 253. And now even my second client, you see, is matching somehow. Even a client number 2, see, client number 2 get 10.0.11.252 as a management. Client number 2 get 10.0.21.252 as when exit. Okay, awesome, perfect. So now we get two clients, which is great. I'm gonna add a local the same way. There's nothing different. That's easy to do. It works all the time. So there you go. At this point, I'm gonna leave it in here. And in the next video, we are going to do something else different. See you in the next one.